texted, hey, there's just something, this is quotes.
Fix the misspells. Yeah.
No, this is completely fine.
Run-ons and fragments.
Just something about this Warrior team and what they are and how far they can go in my mind. There's something about this team right now. I can't put my finger on it. So I was going to text back, well, that's good. Let's talk 4 hours about something you can't put your finger on.
Well, I could put my finger on, we've seen, I'll go Clint Eastwood.
All right.
I think he was in this movie. The good, the bad, the ugly.
Yes.
The good was the 6-1 start. I believe 6-2, help me out. And then the ugly was Toronto, New Orleans.
Yeah.
This team looked like it was dead to rights. And then all of a sudden, and the Draymond suspension.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, Draymond comes back. Curry looks as fresh as a loaf of bread at your local bread store. That was bad. Bakery. And now all of a sudden, Steiny, I feel like Klay accepting his role or what we think might be his new role coming off the bench, Podziemski, Gary Payton II, all of a sudden now, if this team can get into a series, they got the moxie, the know-how. Can Dallas match that? And I'm not, this no shade at Dallas. Could the Warriors not manipulate, but do they have enough experience after improving, and it's only February, if we can get to April by the time the playoffs start or play in, hopefully not. I mean, who's to say, Steiny, that they would be that team, and I love this, you don't want to face them. But that's where I'm at. I can't remember the KD years. We did pre and post. We knew what that was about. They were the best.
Yep.
And then 2022, 18-2. So you kind of saw it from the gate, the good start, so nobody would say, hey, you need to take your crazy pills. The Warriors might be a factor. This has been a metamorphosis that's still in continuance that I don't know where it could go, Steiny. So they could lose in the play-in, or they could get their wits about them, which I think they're doing now, and be a problem. And so I'm excited. Give me a year where we didn't know what this team was at this juncture. This is exciting.
Well, what were they last year after 53 games?
Well, you know what?
A few games over?
I was thinking that, and I left that off the text real quick about that. I thought Draymond's and the punch, everything was off the table, Steiny, because the connectivity, I just thought it was a wash, and to their credit, they got to the second round.
I mean, ordinarily, I'm waiting take issue.
Yeah.
But there really wasn't anything you said that is worth taking issue with. You didn't say, Steiny, they get it together, they can win a title. Because Evan and I talked a little bit about that yesterday, and I just am not there. Like, I don't want to even think about that. Because to me, when you think about the Warriors winning a title,
man,
it's still virtually, it's still a long, long, long shot. Well, why Steiny? Well, because you're going to get into the playoffs. Okay, what if we get Minnesota? Could we beat Minnesota? You know what? I'll give you a puncher's chance against Minnesota. In fact, I'll maybe even a coin flip against Minnesota. They're young and you're experienced. The problem is I can't erase what I saw last year.
Right.
And what I saw last year in the playoffs was a team that won in 7 games against the Kings, thanks to an unbelievable performance by Steph Curry in
50.
Game 7. But then they got to round 2, and by the end of the Lakers series, they were shot. They were done. They had nothing. That Game 6 was just unbelievable to me, how fatigued they were, how small they were, how kind of run down they were, how they got overwhelmed by the Lakers' size, basically. So I'm just thinking about how high can they climb in the standings, and then who might they have to play in the play-in, and any of the play-in teams I'll give them a shot at for sure. And then if you get Oklahoma City or, the problem I see, you get Oklahoma City. Big upset. Warriors upset Oklahoma City. Okay, who's waiting for them? Denver. Somebody like that. I mean, it's just really hard for me to envision them winning 4 rounds. Having said that.
That's a 3.
Having said that.
All right.
Let's think about what happened in 2 years ago. They were a 3 seed. Who'd they play in the first round? Denver.
Without Murray.
And Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, so guess what? They won that series in 5 games. Then what? Well, then they played Memphis. And Ja got hurt in that series.
Incredible.
Not saying they got a break. And then what happened? Then what happened was the Dallas Mavericks upset the Phoenix Suns and gave the Warriors a way more favorable matchup in the Western Conference than Phoenix would have been. I think we can all acknowledge that. And the Warriors handled Dallas in 5 games. Well, now they get to the finals. And I think we can all acknowledge, looking back, I said this yesterday, we can all acknowledge looking back at the finals against the Celtics weren't quite ready. They weren't quite ready. Maybe that was because of the Warriors. But that's the way, like, I'm not taking anything past the first round of the playoffs because I think they're going to need some help along the way to make a run, a deep run. And I don't know what the breaks that they're going to get are yet, if you know what I mean.
No doubt. And I'll tell you this, because we are family. In the green room, you just talk about your dad and what this experience has been like to lose your father. And you said it, Steiny, I'm paraphrasing, that losing your pops made you look at other stuff that's not that big. You got more perspective. And the reason I bring that up is when you talk about how drained and gassed the Warriors were against the Lakers, I'm not making an excuse, Steiny. Last year, I wonder now, just taking a step back, how much of that was mentally fried with everything that was going on, trying to get JP and Dre on the same page. We saw it. The video don't lie. But with that, this team lost a coach. And Draymond did a phenomenal job all weekend at All-Star Weekend, and he talked about some of the players that were there and saw that happen in real time. And my point is, Steiny, when I heard you say that in the green room about your pops, I just liken it to this Warrior team that if, and I could be wrong, Steiny, I have no sources, if they had not agendas or maybe bad blood or, you know, you're kind of mad at a guy for something that's really not that big, that the loss that they experienced collectively has made them say, you know what, all that is small stuff. Let's go out here and compete. And I just can't ignore where they're at, what they've done, and how it feels like, Steiny, they're playing with joy again. I don't know what that means. I'm not mad at you because I'm not going to tell you they're going on a finals run, but I am excited about where this run is going to go and where it may not, because we just, with the Warriors under Steph Curry, after surprising the world in 14 and 15, Steve Kerr's first year, Steiny, everything's on the table, and it's just exciting to not be where we were a few months ago where it was Wiggins is gone. Is JK part of a package? Now they got like an identity, man. And I'll leave you with this. The defense scares me. The Utah game, I thought that baby was done, and here comes Utah. So the death of the Warriors, I believe, is going to be their defense and their abilities to sustain good D. And I hope I'm wrong, but that's where I'm at, that if they hook up with OKC and it's a track meet, or Minnesota, they got the young guys.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. Where are you at right now with the Golden State Warriors? Because I was thinking about this. So let me get the schedule up here.
True down, stop.
I went to the, what's he doing?
Sustain good D, huh? Come on. But go ahead.
What do you mean?
I said the Warriors. Come on, guys. We were not 14. You ain't figured it out. Anyway, Drew down with a little material.
So I'm looking at the Warriors season. And so I was at the game on January 7th versus Toronto.
Oh, you saw? That was one of the worst games of the season.
It was the second worst game of the season. The worst game was the one after that against the Pelicans. Those 2 games, the Warriors got booed off the floor, essentially, if you'll remember. That was January 7th and January 10th. When they lost to the Pelicans, they were 17-20. And I was thinking, well, that was the low point of the season. But actually,
they got to 5 games under.
They were 5 games under after they lost to the L.A. Lakers on January 22nd or 27th. They were 19-24. So now they've won 8 of 10 games, and they're playing their best basketball this season. I think we can all agree with that. But my question to Warriors fans is, A, what does that mean to you? that they're playing their best ball of the season? Do you look at them differently than you looked at this team a month ago? I do in a way, and I don't in a way. I think that they were floundering a month ago.
It was bad.
But I think to me, Steph Curry deserves like 90% of the credit. I almost feel like as the All-Star break was heading, he made a decision. I got to try to make some stuff happen. And he did, and he's playing at a level that's allowed him to win 8 of 10. Now I'm going to watch. Can he keep it up? Because it's a long season. I think they're asking him to do too much.
Man.
And I don't know if he's going to be able to continue to play like he's playing unless he gets more help more consistently. And maybe he will. But my question is, has your feelings about the Golden State Warriors, have your feelings changed in the last month or two? It's been a month and a half since they got booed off the floor against Toronto and against the New Orleans Pelicans. Do they have a run in them? Defined run. They're in the 10th spot right now. I'll tell you right now, this is a huge game on Thursday.
Lakers.
A huge game on Thursday. Right now, the Warriors are a game and a half behind the Lakers. I know you lose to the Lakers, now you're 2.5 out of the 9th spot, but the Lakers on the tiebreaker because they've already beaten you a couple times. Like, they got it. This is a game they've got to win and start eyeing 9 and then 8. I don't know how far up they can go. I think it's unrealistic to get to 6. That's 5 games above them right now, which is a lot of games.
Pelicans.
A lot of games for a team with only 29 left to play. But we'll see. Yep. So where are you at right now with this Golden State Warrior team? 888-957-9570.
Now, I do. You might throw something at me. But I'm looking at the standings, and I'm thinking about a stick shift. Pops used to have a Toyota pickup truck, and you put it in reverse with the stick, Steiny. I'm looking at what's behind the Warriors if they were to, let's just say, lose 2 or 3. Utah, for whatever reason, had got hot. The Warriors are 2.5 up on them, 4.5 up on Houston. Those 2 teams are dead, so I guess in a crazy way, Steiny, 10 is where they're going to end up. I could totally be wrong if this thing got ugly, but you want to be positive, and that's why you bring up 6.
So you don't think they'll climb?
No. I'm hoping they climb, but if I'm wrong, and let's just say they kind of just, keep at this pace, I don't feel Utah's going to be that strong for them to fall out of 10.
Yeah. No, I agree with
but then that may sound like I'm not excited. Can I just put a rat on the table? And I've been thinking about it for a couple days.
Okay.
Brought to you by ADCO. Steiny, this team is gelling right now. And you tell me if you had this thought, EU2. When Chris Paul comes back, I'm worried about Pajemski and how they're used. It's not what Chris Paul can bring. It's what he might not mess up. But I'll start with Pods. Is how effective is this going to be Jonathan Kuminga when Draymond came back last year? Andrew Wiggins.
Well, I don't think there's any way Chris Paul's starting. Maybe I'm wrong. But I wrote it down here thinking about Chris Paul. I mean, the starters, I think they're going to run Steph Curry, Pajemski, Wiggins, Kuminga, and Draymond.
So that's their starting 5. Clay ain't starting again for the meantime.
I don't know.
In the meantime.
I'll get Evan in here because we talked about this.
I missed it.
Because he said, you think Clay's going to come off the bench the rest of the year? And I was like, I guess. But I don't know what's going to happen with Clay. But as of right now, I do like the sound of off the bench Chris Paul, Klay Thompson, Peyton II, and Looney.
Man,
that's not a bad second unit. I also think there's something to if Clay's going to the bench to be the 6th man or to come off the bench.
Jack him.
Chris Paul's got to come off the bench.
Yes,
at that point
he could get him
because that would that. Probably would serve Klay Thompson well. So I think when we talk about Pajemski, I think he's going to start. His minutes may be affected a little bit, but I don't think Pajemski's coming out of the starting lineup for Chris Paul or Klay Thompson unless somebody gets, it could always be a case where Wiggins gets hurt for a couple games, you move Klay back into the starting lineup with Pajemski. But I think Clay's coming off the bench if they remain relatively injury-free.